Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It is October the 10th, 2023, and I am here with Pia and Cullen. And we are, welcome, Pia and Cullen.
Hi.
Hi, thank you.
And we are here to talk about how we're navigating these current times on our ascension timeline here. So what an intense, incredible time that we're in right now. And so how are you all doing, Pia and Cullen?
We're weathering what's going on. Our spirits are high. Sometimes our bodies don't know what to do with what's going on, but we're doing pretty well.
Good. Yeah, I too am feeling pretty stabilized within myself. We were talking before we came on the show today that we experienced here in the Pacific Northwest. We had a small earthquake. It happened the other 2 nights ago. I was in my parked car and I felt like somebody behind my car was shaking the car. And then when I opened the car door to look behind, I didn't see anybody back there. And that's when I realized, we're having an earthquake. And then I just right away tuned in again into my own center and stabilized and grounded, just the peace and the calm. And I find this is a really good metaphor for us right now, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot that's happening on the planet. We were also talking about the war that's happening right now in Israel. And I know that the two of you don't watch the news. You guys don't know what's going on, but there is a lot of lives being lost. And there's a lot of, there's just a lot of fear that's happening. So we talked a little bit about, we're all placed in places around the globe, around the earth here, to help us stabilize our environments and to be the peace that we want to see in the world, be the calm that we want to see in the world. And I just want to thank you again for doing the work that you're doing, for bringing the consciousness, for bringing the light and the love that you so tirelessly do and offer for so many people. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Kornelia. And I want to say, in conjunction with stabilizing wherever we are to bring light and love, you where you are, we where we are, I think we're also here to share information so that we know what's really going on. Because you said we don't watch the news. Of course, we don't watch anything on mainstream news. We do watch alternative news, but we don't get news about what's going on in Europe. We get news about what's going on in the USA. You get news about what's going on in Europe. So when we exchange what we know and what we have, referenced, it opens up people to be able to know how to send energy to stabilize and work with what's going on or what they need to do. So it's important work.
Yeah, and what you do on your show is absolutely important, because you're helping people understand. You said this a moment ago, and I think it's really important to repeat it. You're helping people to continue to go back to their center, to go back to their hearts, to restabilize when things are chaotic, when things are really not as balanced or pleasant as we wish they were. So the work you're doing is equally important with all of us that are bringing love and light, but also helping people understand that not only are we all in this together, but we have to keep our spirits, we have to keep our vibration as high as possible to be able to deal with everything that's going around us. I mean, it would be easy to slump into a depression. It would be easy to slump into I'm not big enough to make any difference here. And that's simply not true. Each of us, with the energy that we provide, with the light that we provide, are making a difference.
It's also important not to turn only towards, I'm only going to look at the light. I'm not going to look at what's going on in the dark, because how can you bring a candle into a darkened room if you don't look where the door is? You absolutely have to look at what's going on that's dark and uncomfortable in order to bring your light in to stabilize and change it. You can't simply focus only on the light. We have to have the whole duality package to be able to work appropriately with the energies that are here.
And we have to override.
Yes.
And we have to override what we see outside, and what it is that we're not signing up for anymore. We have to override that, not by not being pulled into the lower vibration of the wars and of the destruction and of the chaos that's out there, but to override with wisdom and love and what it is that we're creating in our new earth, our new world, what it is that we're here for. We're here for the new earth. We're here for the new creation. We're here for the new beginnings. And it is, I wrote down this piece, this quote the other day. And it is the miracle that we each are. The miracle and the destruction is playing out simultaneously. So we see the destruction playing out. That's happening. That's the dark part, Pia, that you were just talking about, right? So we see the destruction playing out. We see it, and we absolutely must see it, and we absolutely must be an observer watching it play out, and remember at the same time in the moment that the miracle is also playing out, and we are that miracle. And so that is the job. That is what it is that we're doing right now with all of this chaotic energy. One of the questions that I want us to talk about today, and it's perfect, Pia, that you just brought this up, because you brought up the dark. We absolutely must, be an observer of the dark and witness it and not just bypass it and make it seem like it's not there. What is the darkest part, Pia, that is keeping us from our peace?
I don't know. I think we should trade stories. You can tell us what's going on over here with what you know about the war that's being stirred up, and we'll tell you what we know about what's going on in the U.S. Yale University has just announced that they have finally synthesized a way to put RMNA into a spray, that aerosol spray that the airplanes can spray all over the country to protect and keep everyone safe. So all of the people who have chosen, I don't want to be vaccinated, will be rained on with the same thing they were avoiding in the shots. And Yale's logic is, well, for all those people that are afraid of needles, this will take care of the problem. Yeah, exactly.
And
and that's not probably something that's advertised heavily in the United States, but we see it here in Europe. The news is right here from a reputable source.
Yeah, and this isn't a brand new idea. Australia, we know from firsthand information from friends, not news media, but actually talking to people in Australia on the ground. The Australian government has been doing this for some time. So it's a designed, orchestrated attempt to get noxious material into the air that's going to hurt people, that's going to damage people who otherwise would have nothing to do with this kind of material. And
it'll go into our food supplies, our water supplies, and ourselves if we're out in nature. And you know, we all have to be in nature to stay connected. So it's something we need to be aware of. It's something we need to stand up and say, no, this is not what I asked for, and you don't have the right to do this, and shine our light and use our voices.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that. So what was it again? So they would be spraying something into the air?
The mRNA is the part of the most noxious part of the vaccines that people took to avoid COVID. It alters the genetic structure of a human.
Mm, yeah. Wow. So yeah, right now that would be the perfect time. As soon as you were saying that, what I visualized is X, a red X, no. I do not consent to this, and no, I don't want this. So that's how we can stand up right away, by saying right away that no, I don't want this. This is not something that I'm signing up for. I'm not, me as a creator being, I don't want this experience. This is not something that I'm signing up for. So, and this is one of the ways that we can stand up and use our voices, because I'm using my voice here right now, saying it out loud. No, I do not consent to this. I do not want this. So that's really important. There's many other ways that we can stand up. What would you say, Pia, are some of the other ways that people can say no to this?
I would get in touch with airlines and say, I'm not going to fly your airline if you don't boycott this action. I'd get in touch with Yale University and say, how dare you put something out under the guise that it's going to be to protect us if we're afraid of needles. I would controversially address doctors, government leaders, airlines, everybody. I would be on a day-long or a week-long thing of writing letters, making phone calls. Calling newspapers would be a really good way to go. Calling newspapers and television shows saying, look, our human freedoms are being compromised. We did not ask for this. We did not agree to this. And it's not within our constitutional rights to have this forced upon us. A radio show should be really, or a news station should be really happy to pick up this controversial subject and say, people are in arms. They don't want it. So
Yeah.
I'd be contacting, if I were in America, that's what I would be doing.
Good. That's a good point. Thank you for that. What about you, Cullen?
Well, I think this is an example of our human rights being eroded. Our legislators obviously did not weigh in on this. This did not come from the legislative branch of the U.S. government. Somebody decided, someone who's not elected, someone who's not medically trained, made these decisions. And that kind of activity has to come to a stop, because when people are telling everyone this is what we're going to do, whether they do it secretly as they're doing it now, or whether they're openly explaining it to people, there isn't any balance. There isn't any checks or balances in this kind of activity. And that's simply ridiculous, because that is, as Pia said, totally, absolutely against our constitutional rights. And this kind of activity keeps happening. I mean, Pia and I try not to call names on public air, but obviously there are people with lots of money who are pulling the strings behind the World Health Organization, the National Institutes of Health. I mean, all of the medical organizations in America that are supposedly, and I should do this with both my hands, supposedly here to protect us. There are people who are not medically trained, nor are they elected government officials, who are telling these organizations, this is what you will be doing because we're funding you. And that is what the public needs to understand, that there's no logic, there's no scientific basis for these decisions being made. It only has to do with money. It has nothing to do with our health. It has nothing to do with science. It simply has to do with money.
Has to do with money and has to do with control. It has to do controlling us manipulating us like we've been controlled and manipulated for lifetimes upon lifetimes of this type of manipulation and uh, control over our freedoms, like Pia said, and our autonomy.
Yep.
And again, this is the dark work. This is the darkest parts of where we need to stand up. And when you talked about the government legislative, like right now in the US, our government is going through a complete uh, decay. It's like a disease that is, there, when you're talking about the government, there is nobody right now there that I'm looking for or to that is, uh, saving the day, if you will, because they're fighting with each other, the right and the left. They're fighting to keep the divisions going and all the different things that are happening. And again, what that's always showing me is to come back to my own center and remember that we are more powerful than we think we are, and to what is it that we are wanting to, because we're being pushed, we're being prodded, we feel like we're in prison, we want to break free, we want to break out, and we want to feel that we are safe and secure in a world that where the destruction is playing out, the control and manipulation is playing out. And what is it that we can do to co-create our new earth together, to co-create our heaven on earth together, to co-create our new world together? And
Absolutely.
right? So what is it that we can do? But again, it starts with each and every one of us. That's why this work that we're all doing, that you're doing, is helping us to remember who it is that we are and what is it that we can do from our place of autonomy, empowerment, peace, love, unity, and action.
That's absolutely correct. And something I wanted to talk about tonight is the eclipse season that we are just about to enter. We have a solar eclipse this coming Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a lunar eclipse 2 weeks later. The solar eclipse will be on the 14th, which will actually be on a new moon. And then 2 weeks later, we will have a lunar eclipse, which will be on a full moon. And the power of these eclipses is incredible. What the eclipses represent, and I'm going to let Pia talk about this more than me, but I'm going to bring the subject up. Eclipses give us the ability, the advantage to really look deeply at what we don't like, what we don't want, what doesn't serve us any longer. We can dive deeply into those areas that it is time to say no to. It is time to disregard or throw away or simply step away from things that either haven't worked or things that in our own lives that we need to reassess, relook at. What can we do to change the circumstances of what's going on? I just wanted to introduce that. Pia has much more to say about this.
Well, anytime you think about the moon and the circling of the moon around the earth, we think about, oh, okay, we have different phases, new moon all the way to full moon, there's different phases, but not many people talk about the fact that there's a polar axis. There's a south node and a north node, which are energetic points. They're not points in space. They're just energetic points that the moon passes through on its trajectory. And when it goes through either a south or a north node point, it's either releasing energy or it's bringing in new energy. And this new moon that we're having, the solar eclipse this coming Saturday, is all about releasing everything that's negative, everything that doesn't work. Just release, release, release. It means people will be emotionally volatile and stirred up. It means that they're going to be really unhappy and not know why. But there's a lot going on that needs to be released. And then when the lunar eclipse comes on the 28th, New energies will be coming in on the full moon, connectivity, new ideas, new ways of doing things. So this is a really, really potent 2-week period. And coincidentally, it happens, as it always does, to be aligned with Pleiadian Earth energies. The Pleiadian Earth energy beginning on Saturday the 14th, which is the solar eclipse, is the energy of feeling, which is the most emotional energy all the earth energies expressed. It's also the energy that can also bring us into our true feeling state: love, joy, trust, compassion, kindness, patience, generosity. All of those higher feeling states are also accessible in feeling energy. So during this 13-day period, I would suggest that if the first part of when it starts the cycle on Saturday the 14th, or actually at sunset on the 13th is when it really starts. When it starts, look at what you need to get rid of. What's not working in your life? What makes you unhappy? What makes you angry? What attitudes and belief systems do you need to change within yourself? What are you reacting to instead of responding to? Give up everybody else space and then do your own inner work and prepare through this cleansing process to bring in all the things that we know we really are, all the things we want to co-create on the planet, all the higher energies of what we feel when we're in the divine connection with Source and with each other, and start planning to do that on the lunar eclipse on the 28th. It's a perfect duality program. Get rid of the old, bring in the new, and here's the energies to support doing that.
And the reason I brought this up is it fits perfectly. It dovetails what we were just talking about standing up and saying no, or standing up and saying, this is not what we want. This is not something that we asked for. This is something that you're foisted on us, something that does not belong to us. And that's why these two eclipses are so vitally important, because we can actually, by getting rid of things we don't want, we can actually change things and create what we truly desire. So I brought this up on purpose because it fits so well with the subject matter that we've talked about so far in this talk together.
But as I said a few minutes ago, we have to be willing to go into the dark to do this, whether that's the dark of our own psyche, the dark part of relationships or a job that's not working, the dark part of where we're living that may not be resonant with us, and the dark of what's going on collectively on the planet. We have to be willing to go into the dark, see what's there, and then do the work of shining the light. It's really proactive, deep, powerful work.
And one more thing I want to add is, because Pluto has had such an enormous effect on all of us, the effect of Pluto in Capricorn is all about structure. And what's been going on, obviously, around the world is structures are falling apart.
And right on target, I just looked it up to be sure I'm right. Pluto goes direct tomorrow. Anytime a planet goes retrograde or goes direct, there's a shakeup in the energies. And Pluto shakes things up anyway. So right before the eclipse, Pluto goes direct, and it'll stay direct until it changes signs in January of next year. So this is really interesting.
It is. This is so important to understand, that this is the perfect time for secrets to be revealed, for things that have been kept, and I'm going to say this on purpose, in the dark for so long. This is exactly the right, perfect positioning for all of us who are working through our hearts, who are spreading love and light, to make the choices and make the decisions to get rid of everything that doesn't work, everything that's dark, everything that's not balanced. All of these things we've been talking about for the past 10 minutes are all designed together to make this a more potent experience, to be honest, to be transparent, to stand up and say, This is not what we want. We're creating something else. What we're actually doing is we're creating a parallel community. We are disagreeing with what's going on worldwide, and we're creating a completely different atmosphere, a completely different way of living on this planet. And all of these elements that we're sharing and talking about are popping up at the exact right time.
And we are projecting and emitting a frequency, the structure that you're talking about of what it is that we're creating. And it's like both of you said, this is the perfect time right now because we're in October 2023. We're seeding in October of 2023. And so this next while, the seeds that we're planting now, the seeds of love, unity, freedom, the values. What are our values? What is it that we stand for? How do we want to be living in our values? How are we living in our values right now? And what's important to each of us personally, because we see on a collective level, there's the war going on. There is lots of anger. There's lots of fear. But when we do the work internally, first in our own inner garden, and work there, begin there to make that peaceful, to make that harmonious, not by bypassing the things that are dark there that you haven't looked at, but to really look at those things. Like Pia said, to really look at the darkness with that's in your space and that needs to be released and let go. And so that we can take this powerful time right now with the planetary support that we have with Pluto going direct. That was one of my things on my list, is to talk about Pluto going direct, because it is that forward movement in our personal power, taking right action, standing up for things, not being passive aggressive and feeling like victims, like we can't do anything about anything. No, we can clean our inner garden, we can clean our inner homes, we can stand up for the things that we no longer want in our new earth creation, and we can do that. I think the big thing to remember right now is this time period feels a little bit uncomfortable because you know what it's like. It's like, roll up your sleeves. We have some cleanup to do. I think it was back in August when I said, my gosh, there's a big mess here. It's very, very messy. And like really, I wrote down all the things that are messy in my life that I want to address, the things that will absolutely get handled. This, whatever those things are. For each person, it's a different mess. And if we all clean up our own messes that we have, and we're all human, we have our stuff that we need to deal with. We all have our baggage, but if we all clean house, then and stand up for those things, that is the new structure that we're creating. And through that, it requires a lot of peace, and it requires a lot of honesty and space, giving yourself the space and the time to do it and to work through it. And not be in such a hurry again, because I feel too, what I'm hearing from people also is that people are feeling like there is just a lack of movement moving forward. There's a lack of momentum, a lack of movement, that it's not happening fast enough. So that's that internal battle that's happening within, right? The internal battle. Oh, it's not moving fast enough. So we're being pushed again on the inside to release that frustration, and to let go of that frustration, because we don't want to create from a frustrated place. We don't want to create those same karmic cycles over and over and over again. And we also don't want to sit back and not do anything. We want to do that inner work to really come from a pure, harmonized creator state of being.
So, Kornelia, you talked about planting seeds, of what kind of seeds are we planting? And I've talked about clearing the ground because we have to clear the ground to make ready. I have an image of all these bedding plants within a greenhouse where all the seeds are being nurtured, but they're not ready to be planted in the garden yet.
Mm.
And then I have the also simultaneous image of a farmer burning his field, burning down, preparing it. You know, the field has to be burned, the ground has to be turned, preparing it before the new plants can be put in. I think we have to burn down the field of the energies that have not served us while simultaneously nurturing the energies that we are and that we are co-creating, because everything is energy. We are energy. Our world is energy. And we have to do something different about the energy that's being manifested on this planet.
It's so perfect for this time period to, again, clean your house, take ownership of you know, the foundation that you want to live upon. That foundation. What are the roots? Like, I've been working with my plants, right? I've been repotting some of my plants, and I've been you know, cutting the dead leaves off and different pruning the dead debris off. And so this is exactly the metaphor of what we're talking about, of what it is that we're wanting to create. And that anger that some people feel right now, and what you just talked about, the fire burning down the field with that internal rage, not to harm anyone, not to hurt anyone with the anger, but to use that fire that is going to clean that up. And right.
Yeah, fire is very purifying if used appropriately.
Yeah, our Pleiadian friends often say that anger is the fuel for change. And that's exactly what the two of you are talking about right now. The using anger, not explosively to hurt anyone, but to use that anger in a positive manner to create a space where change can actually happen. So it takes it away from just being in a neutral place, but using anger to push forward so that we can actually create what we want. It's a great symbol. It's great symbolism, and as you said, a great metaphor.
Yeah, and if people use their anger to work towards, instead of, again, using rage to harm people, this is an important piece, not to keep projecting it out onto other people, but to really use the anger as a creative fuel and get something done, because that's the energy we can use it for, is to actually use it as fuel, use it as fire, and use it as something good for you, because it's part of us, it's in us, it is energy, like you talked about, Pia. So one of the things that I wrote down this morning, because usually when we come on to do our monthly sessions, I don't prepare for the shows. I sit down in the time period before we come on, and then I just look at the energy of what it is, what's there right now, what needs to be talked about, and we just come on organically, and that's how we do it. We don't do any preparation for it, which is so great, which I love doing it this way. So it's not all prepped, it's not all perfect. It's just, here we are organically talking about what it is that we're going through right now. So if we didn't have these challenges, if we didn't face these struggles, if we didn't, experience the things that we're experiencing, then we wouldn't be co-creating our new earth.
Oh, that is such an important idea. We have to be pushed by something. We have to grow through challenges. We have to grow through adversity. If everything was just perfectly balanced for us, if some energy just made our lives so perfect that we didn't have to do anything, we would never get anywhere. We would just sit and be probably complacent, maybe bored, And I don't think we would actually progress as quickly as we do with these challenges, with these things that we have to look at as growth potential. So I think you're absolutely right on that one.
Yeah, if we didn't have the struggle, if we didn't have the challenges, we would just be sitting back and not doing anything, because really we are evolving again as a human race, and really it's going to happen. It's going to happen no matter what. It's going to happen. You're either going to go kicking and screaming, or you're going to be part of pick up the shovel and let's go, let's get something done, right? Let's clean this up, let's clean this out, let's roll up our sleeves and let's get it done. But we're also in the Libra energy, and you mentioned the nodes earlier, Pia, and the Libra South node, is it could be very, complacent, just like, oh, just focusing on the love and light, and peace at all costs, and that is not the way to go. That is not part of how we're co-creating our new Earth, because we don't want to sacrifice in the name of peace, the darkness that also needs to be like looked at, and the ugly part of our humanity that we've been sitting with for so long that we haven't been addressing. And
Yes.
that's right.
We're being called to follow the North Node on that polar axis of Libra South Node, moving into Aries North Node, move into the stance of stand up and say what we need, stand up and defend ourselves, stand up and say, no, this is not okay, and be assertive about it. That's what the Aryan energy is all about. It's about freedom and independence and speaking out, which is exactly the opposite of the peace at any cost Libran energy.
Yeah. This is not really a vacation planet. This is an educational planet.
Yeah.
We're here not just to go to a tropical white sandy beach and drink margaritas under swaying palm trees. That's really not what we're here for. We can do that occasionally for fun, but we're here to learn. We're here to use the educational tools that help us grow our consciousness, to help us progress in the understanding that we are evolving, as you just mentioned. And if we just sat around and pretended we were on vacation permanently, we honestly wouldn't get anywhere. We wouldn't move away from the easy way of experiencing life. So I think people need to understand that vacations are great, but they're not a total lifelong experience. They're a break from our education. They're a little bit of relief or release, but we're really here to learn. We're really here to educate ourselves so that we can evolve and that we can create what we truly wish to create.
When we go on vacation, when you were talking, I think it's funny, that this is not a vacation planet. That was a good joke. That because it's not. When we go on vacation, it's not. Why do we go on vacation? We go on vacation because we want to relax. We want to sit back and we want to consume, more of this and more of that, and just. And what happens is we overconsume. We over do those things that we normally wouldn't do on a daily basis. So we're here to co-create our new Earth. You called it an education planet. I think that's a good way to look at it. And I have called the planet Earth a prison planet. I've called it that through my own internal work that I've done, releasing myself from the inner prison mirrored to me by the outside world. Because that's really pretty much how I have felt, imprisoned in a world that I don't feel like I fit in, imprisoned in a world where I don't feel like I can use my creative gifts and all of the things, because whatever I found myself in, I was blocked or stopped or whatever it is. And so we're here to break out of that prison. We're here to break out of the inner prison that we find ourselves in, and to really be free. on this planet, because the planet, like we talked about in the beginning of the show, has been controlling, manipulating, life-sucking, uh, a life-sucking, force that has tried to keep us from remembering the truth of who we are, which this is also the work that you are doing, helping people remember who it is that we are. And so that is the work. We're here to break free. We're here to break out. We're here to reclaim. We're here to reclaim our beautiful planet Earth and bring it back into her rightful original destiny of who it is that she is here to evolve into, on a planet that is not controlled, that is not manipulated, that is not, war being fought on her land. On her land. She's not a storage facility. She's not, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
So, Kornelia, you're talking about all of these things that we are, that we need to acknowledge. And we talked about the fact that we're energy. And I think we have the concept down pretty well, that we know we're energetic beings manifested into physical form. But most people don't have any idea what their personal energy is. They don't have an idea what that looks like, what that feels like, what karmic patterns they have, what their challenges are, all of that stuff. I'm offering a workshop in November that's going to be available to help people understand their own energy. We're going to be looking at karmic patterns, gifts and challenges, shadow cycles, and how they can be maintained, how they can be predicted, so you can deal with the shadows and take your light into the shadow and do the cleanup that's necessary, challenges to heal and how to move past that towards imbalances, the phases of Venus and how Venus is so instructive, and how we choose our relationships so that we can choose and nurture relationships in a more harmonious way. And also, what is it that defines my mission? What is it that defines who I am? How do I bring my energy into the world in a way that I can be very powerful in attaining my own fulfillment, achieving my mission, and being part of a collective that is destined to evolve? So the workshop is all about that, and it's offered to help people explore, what is your energy? How does this impact you? How do you discover who you are? And then use it.
Yes, I think that's so important, especially right now with the cleanup that we're talking about, that we're in, cleaning things up. And when you're looking at it like looking at what is your energy, we're not just clearing up energy from this lifetime, we're clearing up energy from all the lifetimes.
Exactly. Parallel lives. And that's where the karmic patterns come in, because we come in with certain patterns in place from all the parallel lives that we have to integrate. Some of those patterns are showing up as challenges, and some of those patterns show up as gifts. But if you don't know what's what, where it's coming from, and how you're to move from one place to the next, you're just going around in a circle. So this is all based on the Pleiadian Earth energy system of being able to explore who you are. Who am I? What am I here to do? What is my mission? How do I move beyond my challenges? How do I accept my gifts? How to explore the places that I would like to put my toes in the water, but I'm a little afraid to do it. All of that's going to be part of what we're addressing in this workshop.
And when is the workshop, Pia?
It's November the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th, depending on what time zone you're in. It's only an hour and a half on each of those days. I believe in your time zone, Kornelia, it would be 8 o'clock in the morning till 9:30. In Europe, it would be, in the UK, it would be 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 5:30. In Central Europe, it's 5 o'clock to 6:30. And in Eastern Europe, it is 6 o'clock to 7:30. So depending on where you are in the world, the time zone is adjusted. But it's only for an hour and a half on these 3 days. So your whole day is not taken up. Just enough to participate with joint participation with other people. Look at your own individual patterns in a small group. Everything that people want to know about this will be available for them.
So, and is there a link that you have? Did you bring a link with you today, Pia, or?
It's on my website. It's piaorleane.com, and then look at the head bar for workshops. It is the workshop under the headline for workshops.
Yeah. And then to later, let's add that link in the YouTube description underneath your name. Let's put that link there front and center for people so that they can go, grab it and go register. I think that's the perfect thing to do as you're clearing up 2023 and moving into 2024. This is a really, really good time to claim back your power and say, yeah, I want to really look at the challenges that we're facing in this lifetime. These are challenges that the patterns that you were talking about are also patterns that we've had in other lifetimes. And really, for once and for all, to be done with it, to really be done with it, to really realize it. Oh, this is what it is. Like, I really want to be done. And as I'm moving forward into 2024, 2025, 2026, as I'm moving forward, I'm going to be operating from this new blueprint, from my own design, right? Through your workshop, the workshop that you're offering.
Yep. We have approximately 4 months left of Pluto being in Capricorn. We're only in the end of the first week of October, and when when Pluto enters Aries on January 21st. Aquarius, sorry, yes. That's only 4 short months from now. And so the way I'm looking at this, we really have 4 months to clean up as much as we can possibly clean up, because the energies will be radically different when that change takes place between Capricorn and Aries. So I'm looking at this 4 months as sort of the last truly deeply time and energy space to really do the work that the three of us are talking about on this show today.
And it does line up perfectly with the nodal axis that you were talking about, Cornelia, of getting rid of the Librian peace at any cost and moving into the Aryan stance of, no, that's not what I want. This is what I want, which lasts for 18 months. So we moved into that already, and we'll be in that space for 18 months as we move out of Pluto and Capricorn into Pluto and Aquarius, moving towards freedom.
Yeah. So this is a really potent, really critical time to do everything that we're suggesting together right now. This is a great time to do as much as we possibly can to rub off all the sharp edges, to go as deeply as possible, and really truly do the work.
I like that you're offering that workshop, Pia, right at this critical time where people can really jump on and clean up, clean out, let go, release, let go, and then move into their intuitive gifts and really on a clean foundation. So this is right. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
I've offered workshops in the past, and I've put up a replay link that people can buy the video after the workshop. I'm not going to do that this time. Anybody who participates in the workshop will automatically get a replay video, but it's not going to be made available because this is an active participative workshop where people are involved with what's going on, where they're sharing with each other, and the communication back and forth is part of the magic of the workshop. So there won't be a replay link unless you are a participant in the workshop.
And you know what? And that also is such an important piece, what you're just saying right now, because we need the connection and community to be involved and engaged, because people will say, oh, I'll get the replay, but we know how it is. They don't get to it. They don't get to it. They don't get to the replay. They're just saying in their mind, oh, I'm going to get the replay and then I'll get to it. But then life happens and things happen and you forget about the replay and it doesn't happen. We need to be involved, and we need you to be active and to participate, because you can then write in the Akashic records, I was part of this time period. I was part of this seeding. I was part of this clearing up. I was active. I was on point. I was here to do my part. And with that, that's like, I'm writing the new beginning. I'm rewriting it. And working together as a community, it's so powerful and important. I did this also in my group with the KS Media entrepreneurs that I work with. You know, they used to get the replay from me when they, you know, we have the Thursday meetings, right? And I would send out the replay. Would take a lot of work for me on my end to get the replay uploaded and then send it out. Takes up a lot of energy and putting it out. But then they wouldn't necessarily come to the meeting. So then the people started saying, well, where's the replay? What happened to the replay? And then I was responding with, well, where were you? You know, come to the show, come to the show, come to the party, come to the event, come to the plays. You know, we want, you know, we want people to co-create together. That's why we're doing it. We're being called to offer our gifts, like Pia is doing, putting together this incredible workshop. And, you know, even if you sign up for the workshop and then you can't make it, if something happens, you'll get the replay, like she said. But at least sign up and be a part of the energy, right? Be a part of the creation.
That is a great point, because it is the energy of the moment that communication is going from person to person to person. You're both absolutely right. It makes way more sense energetically than dangling the carrot to people. Oh yeah, you can do this later. Don't worry about it. What you two are talking about is absolutely right.
It's, you know, it's a hard call because we want to bring all the people with us. We want to send out the replay. We want all of these things. And at the same time, we have to put the boundary down and say, no, that's not going to work for this particular configuration. This is what we're co-creating. And we need people that are engaged, that are here, that are ready to co-create, and that are really ready to be serious, because it is a serious business. After all, we're creating a new earth. We're creating a new earth, and it is done through each and every one human body that is here, that is purifying their temple and living and acting from a place of love, unity, harmony on an everyday basis, that's not sucked into the old programming. And it takes, you know, the tools. We have to have the tools in the toolbox. And that's why you offering this workshop, this is not an accident. This is a call. This is a call that was, you know, this is not like something, oh, well, let's just do this for this reason. It's a call. It's a call. And that call is now, right? So where can people get the link again, Pia?
PiaOrleane.com. And then if you look in the header bar, it says workshops.
Good. And for those of you that are going to watch this later on YouTube, you'll see it in the description. We'll get it in there for you. So go check it out, and by all means, you know, share it with your friends and the people that you know that are also ready to co-create their new earth and their new way of living. Basically, we're tilling our land. I was trying to think of an image for us, because Cullen, you talked about the next 4 months. I think this is really an important piece. Like, if we can just relax and know that the next 4 months, we have a great opportunity to tie up these loose ends, to seal any energy leakages that where leaks are happening, but to really clean things up these next 4 months. I think this is a really good way, next level goal, next level commitment, like committed to this next 4 months, rather than like, I want this now. We want it now. Yeah, we want it now. We want to instantaneously manifest our new now. And we have the next 4 months to really get it cleaned up and really get good at our manifesting abilities as well, right? So what is it?
Well said.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a image. Like, what is the image that we can see? That is it the image of the fire that you were talking about, the farmer, that what's the image I'm looking for the image for the next 4 months.
Well, maybe, but the image that I see right now, in answer and response to your question, is the phoenix. Phoenix bursts into flame and then rebirths itself in a new form over and over and over again. So for me, the image would be a phoenix.
I like that. That's good. Yeah.
It's really, it's, what were you going to say, Cullen?
Well, the reason that I brought up the 4 month period is people are always looking far, far into the future, predictions or personal wishes about, I wish this was happening faster. I don't want to wait for 2025, 2026, as you mentioned a moment ago. And the idea that these energies are available and potent just looking at the next 4 months, I think will give relief to people thinking, well, if I really get on this, if I really start doing the deep work, I can really accomplish something in only 4 months. And I think hopefully that's an incentive for people to really, truly start the deep work that they need to be doing, because we all need to be doing it. And 4 months is not a very long time span. We can create a tremendous amount of everything in 4 short months.
I really like that. I really like the 4-month piece, that 4-month focus, because here's the thing, we have to have a lot of patience in between there, because we're not in a consistent, are you in a consistent place of holding your highest vibration as you're collecting all of this energy, this information that we're constantly being bombarded with? Are you always holding your energy in the highest frequency, or do you drop down by doubts and fears that come along the way? That do you drop down? And that's the point. We want to get back to the point of really being purposeful with the 0 point creation, where we're creating and from that place. So having that next 4 months is a really good time period to give yourself that space to really clean up. You can look at it as you've got a warehouse full of stuff that needs to be sorted through and gone through. There's all these boxes, and we need to go through all this stuff and purge and get rid of things and lighten the load so that we can live more simply and live more in our joy and our abundance. Because when we're, like I said earlier, the earth is not a storage facility, but certainly we are holding on to a whole lot of stuff, right? That we don't need, and held on to a whole lot of stuff. So really releasing and letting go. She's not a storage facility. She has told me this herself. When I was in Hawaii years ago, there was a flood. And when I was tuning into her at the time after the flood was over, this is what she was talking about, is the flood happened, the cleansing happened, because she's being treated as a storage facility, and she's not a storage facility. And so that was really beautiful. And I think of this right now too, is we're cleaning up. We're not, Gaia, Mother Earth is not a storage facility. We're here to live in harmony and simplicity and return back to her nature, our nature. And that's what we're here to do. And Pia and Cullen, you two are helping us do that. And you're also offering that workshop that you're doing in November again. November the 11th, November the 12th. It's for an hour and a half each. And we invite you to come and look at what you've got in your warehouse.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, what a great show, huh?
Yep.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
We covered a lot of important ground today.
Yep.
I mean, and it's interesting. It felt like, again, look at how organically this just flowed, right? It's like this, we didn't prepare for this. This is just, it was all organic, what's in the field, what needs to be talked about. I'm excited. For the next 4 months to see what we're going to co-create together. It's going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be miraculous at the same time.
Yes.
Excellent way of describing that. I think what we're going to reach together is authenticity.
Cheers to that. Cheers to authenticity, authentic humans being who it is that they are, co-creating together harmoniously in our new earth, an earth that is not built upon lies and manipulation and wars, but an earth that is built on harmony, love, unity, and peace and oneness, right?
Perfect.
Right? So I want to thank everybody for listening and tuning in. We appreciate you. Be sure to go to, is the page on Pia.com? Is it PiaOrleane.com?
PIAORLEANE.com, workshops.
Yes. And also look in the description below if you're watching this at a later time, and be sure to go sign up for this wonderful call that has been made so that you can come in and join us. All right, everyone. Thank you, Pia and Cullen, for your time and energy today. As always, we'll see you again all next month. Is going to be November. We're going to be here. Let's look at what date that is. It's going to be on November the 7th. November the 7th, we'll be here, and we'll talk about the workshop again. But November the 7th, we'll be here. So we wish you a really great eclipse cycle and season, so that you can release and let go of everything that's no longer serving you, and that you move into the new cycle of creation, of the new beginnings that we're all here to create together. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love. Till next time. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.